No.
Oh,
School setting is pretty new to me. So it's in 2023, so I'm not doing escape extinction anymore, really.
Okay. Can people see my screen? Yes.
It's really tiny though. Or is
Oh.
it just me?
no, it's
Is
really
it?
it's better now.
Yeah,
It's better now.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So this is I would think this is a fairly new article. And I was pleasantly surprised that it was done by my professor. When I was reading it, I was really surprised that it was actually done by one of my favorite professor at Vanderbilt. And the title of the study is the effects of enhanced choice model of skill-based treatment for students with emotional behavioral disorder. I know that Tanya and I has had a couple clients with oppositional defiant disorder where we suspect the child may have that. And it was a huge struggle for us because it seems like nothing worked and the child would just escape whatever it is that we any contingencies, any reinforcement-based contingencies. I don't know, but that was my experience, and I was really pleasantly surprised that I found this article actually. Has you guys heard of skill-based treatment? Of course, right? Or not? Hanley, ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I can't for some reason. Team is new to me, so I can I don't know how to see everybody while sharing my screen. Oh well, that's okay. So you guys will have to vocalize if you have any response. Okay, I'm terribly sorry for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So background of this study is that significant portion of school-age children affected by emotional and behavioral disorders characterized by severe and persistent patterns of problem behavior that impedes learning. So there is more and more students that are like that. And so if we are struggling with them in the clinical setting, imagine what it is like in school, right? And so skill-based treatment popularized by Hanley has three phases, which is communicative response, which is doing a functional communication training, and then building a tolerance response, and finally cooperation with tasks that are shaped to what is found in the environment. Quick review there. And escape extinction is one of the most common components of behavioral treatment packages selected for implementation in school. However, unfortunately, it often includes physical prompt to have the child cooperate, and that carries a lot of risks, as we all know. Like physical prompt might not be a good fit for student. Physical prompt is a slippery slope to escalate to physical restraint, and physical prompt has the potential to have counter therapeutic effects, especially for students who may experience trauma. Okay, so that's why we do the enhanced choice model of the skill-based training. So this is a combination of two treatment packages, which is enhanced choice model and skill-based training. From here on forward will be referred to as ECM SBT. And the characteristics of ECM is the absence of physical guidance, which is great. And then they also provide two concurrently available alternatives to participating in treatments. So they provide a choice to increase task engagement and reduce challenging behavior and lower the value of the motivating operation for the challenging behavior. For example, that is escaping instructions while accessing preferred items and activities. That is programmed non-contingent access to reinforcers, and also returning to regularly scheduled activities, which is unprogrammed alternative. Okay. So the purpose of this study is that all the study are done in public schools. They recruit children with emotional behavior disorder, and also those that belongs in the vulnerable groups, low social economic status, people of color, and they seek to evaluate the effects of EBT on a greater range of man topographies. And so, as you all know, white upper class members of the society are usually overrepresented in literature. And so recruiting children from a very diverse, vulnerable groups is something that is very new, actually, and very informative. Okay, so the research question for the study that we will be learning about today is that ECM SBT can increase a series of communicative responses, tolerance responses, and cooperation for students with emotional behavior disorder in public special day school setting, whether students prefer SBT to ECM alternative contexts, that is enriched break, returning to regularly scheduled activities, and can classroom staff without training in ABA implement ECM SBT procedures and achieve similar results to those of research staff. So I will quickly go over the method. The participants, they all belong to just classrooms. These are special, what do they call it? Special public special day school setting. So these are public schools, but these are special schools. So the typical classroom looks like this. There are 4 to 6 students per classroom, and there are 3 staffs that consist of teacher, paraprofessional, and then there is a behavior coach that does not have ABA training. So go figure. And then the inclusion criteria is that the children has challenging behavior that are evoked by the presentation of academic work and transition from highly to less preferred activities. And then the priority concerns based on the severity of the challenging behavior, and they are vocal, verbal, male. And the 3 vocal verbal male that are participating in the studies are Carlos. He is an 8-year-old male. He has emotional disabilities. He has pull-out speech, about 77 minutes per week out of class due to challenging behavior, property destructions, aggression, elopement, and SIB. And then there's also Theo. He's 7. He also has ED, has pull-out speech, and engaged in 88-minute elopement out of class due to challenging behavior, aggression, and elopement. And there's also Kendrick. He's 9. He has ED, and he engages in verbal and physical aggression. So the settings, it's done in a typical classroom. So in the special public school, in the typical classrooms with 4 other students that are present, and it's about 1 hour, 3 days a week, and it is done at times when teacher reported challenging behavior is most likely. Okay, so for the measurement, they have coded several time, I guess. So time in context consists of child-led, which is individualized, high-quality adult attention. That means the adult is complying with the child's demands. There is preferred tangibles available. No instructions are given, and the onset of a child-led time is when adult-led time is explicitly terminated. So the teacher would say something like, "Nice following instructions," or "We can go back to your way." And then adult-led time, the onset is when the therapist's action is incompatible with one or more elements of child-led time. For example, instructions were given, removal of toys are done, and then there is also a hangout that is feet inside a taped boundary of a hangout area. And there's also leaving, where both participant feet cross threshold of classroom doors. And so this is when the choice were given. So there is a child-led, adult-led, and then the kids are also They can also hang out. That is, they can place themselves inside of a taped boundary area where they wanted to hang out with the teacher, and then they also can leave the classroom, hence elopement. And then for the measurements, they coded the frequency of precursor and challenging behavior. And the challenging behavior includes property destruction, physical aggression, and SIB. Okay, so, and then also they code independent and prompted functional communicative response, which is my way, shaped to excuse me, pause, may I please have my way with eye contact. And then they also the tolerance response when the child say, okay, when denied a request. Okay, so they also coded instructions. So earlier when we were discussing our experiences with escape to demands, we mentioned building tolerance, right, with easy work, and then continue on with the harder type works. And so instructions are coded as easy, which is one step, and hard as multiple steps. And cooperation is coded when the participant initiated and completed task within 10 seconds. All right, so what does the result look like? I will be reading this is a table that I have compiled from reading the result section of the study, and then I will show you all the graph. Okay, so for Carlos, for Carlos in the baseline, he has an elevated precursor and challenging behavior frequency, and then he had no functional communicative response at all. And most of the time, he chose to be in child-led time instead of the adult-led time. And then in the simple FCT, he had no precursor of challenging behavior at all. So the frequency was 0, and then the functional communication response, it was acquired at a stable rate. Simple FCT is when the child say my way, okay? And then intermediate and terminal functional communication training is when the child is shaped to say, excuse me, pause, can I please have my way with eye contact. There was some precursor and challenging behavior occurring at a very low rate though. And then the functional communication response were acquired at also a stable rate. And then for the tolerance training, there's still a low rate of precursor of challenging behavior. And you all will see a nice spike, and it happened twice, of challenging behavior when the teacher actually instituted punishment for leaving. So the teacher said, no, you can't leave. And then so suddenly precursor and challenging behavior happened, right? And it only happened twice, and that was because the teacher instituted punishment for leaving. And then there was also the functional communication response. The child actually emitted the functional communication response. And then sorry, I think this is supposed to be right here. The tolerance response. The tolerance response was emitted as well. So let me just remind you, the tolerance response is when the child said okay, when the teacher denied the child's request. Okay, and then for when they start to fade in instructions, precursor and challenging behavior still occur at a really low rate. But then we can see that the child began to cooperate, and when the classroom teacher took over the instructions as well as leading the sessions. Precursor behavior still occurs at a low rate, and cooperation was that the child cooperates, and this is when the child chooses to be in more adult-led time. So overall, they also compiled the time that the child chose to spend in practice. Leave that is leaving the classroom, that's only 14%, and hangout, that means not doing anything and just escape to a low preferred reinforcer, as well as low quality attention, and that is only at 8%. So the child surprisingly chooses to be in practice condition. So here is the graph. Can you all see the graph clearly? Wait, am I losing everybody? Oh, shoot.
We're here.
can see
We can see the graph.
Sorry, okay. Can you still see it now? Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
okay. So I will, I don't know, let you all look at the graph for a minute. Is that enough, people?